Just because someone is super does not mean they are smart. Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 dumbest decisions in Marvel.
Think you know the Avengers? Click below to sign in with your Google or Facebook account and take the new trivia quiz on WatchMojo.com for your chance to win a prize from Culturefly.
For this list, we're looking at the stupidest decisions made by Marvel's legendary heroes. Only comics will be considered, so Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man can rest easy. Please note, a spoiler warning is now in effect. Number 10. X23 forgoes her training to fight as Sentinel. On the surface, Laura Kinney seems like a female version of Wolverine, but the artificially generated mutant is a highly gifted tactician with a background in covert ops. Prior to conflict, X23 examines all the variables to determine the most effective method to eliminate an enemy. The only reason Laura would forego a lifetime's worth of conditioning is if a comic like Avengers Arena really needs the superhero to lose. Up against the Sentinel and Deathlocket controlled by Apex, Laura determines a non-strategic full frontal assault to be the wisest tactic. Such wild displays of hot-headedness are typically reserved for Logan. Number 9. The Avengers hire Teen Tony to fight Rogue Tony. When it comes to objectionable storylines, Marvel's The Crossing stands out as an especially baffling example. Tony Stark is outed for being Kang's double agent, and also a murderer. Understandably shocked and angered by the hero's betrayal, the Avengers conjure up a logical and foolproof plan guaranteed to stop Stark. The superheroes travel back in time to bring back an adolescent version of Tony capable of countering the corrupted version. Unfortunately, Teen Tony proves to be a poor substitute for the real model and nearly dies at the hands of the older Iron Man. More importantly though, Teen Tony is really obnoxious and annoying. Number 8. Iron Man and Mr. Fantastic create a Thor clone. So many hero versus hero events could have been avoided if the two sides simply sat down to have a proper discussion. Instead, Civil War has Tony Stark and Reed Richards use strands of the missing in action Thor's hair to create a clone to fight Captain America's anti-registration team. Surprising absolutely nobody, the Asgardians clone proves to be unstable, partakes in a bit of murder, and eventually becomes a supervillain named Ragnarok. To make matters infinitely worse, the Hank Pym who helped create Ragnarok was ultimately revealed to be an imposter who installed a failsafe to ensure nobody else could deactivate the cyborg. Number 7. Captain Marvel unquestionably believes Ulysses' premonitions. Nearly every key player in Civil War II acts like a rash if not downright villainous idiot. Ulysses is an inhuman with the ability to see the future, prompting Captain Marvel to lead a group of heroes in preemptively arresting people before a crime is even committed. Putting aside the obviously ethically suspect stance taken by Carol Danvers, Tony Stark proves Ulysses' visions are based on probability and are not entirely reliable. So, how does Captain Marvel react? The experienced superhero doubles down and continues to enforce the law based solely on Ulysses' potentially wrong information. Civil War II coincides with the deaths of various superheroes. Number 6. Avengers and X-Men fight over Hope Summers. When news breaks that the Phoenix, a powerful cosmic entity capable of great devastation or creation, is returning to Earth to fuse with Hope Summers, the Avengers believe the safest bet is to destroy the godlike being, while the X-Men view the Phoenix as an opportunity to save mutant kind. Although the X-Men are far more experienced in dealing with the entity, Captain America and the Avengers ignore the mutants and forcibly try to apprehend the Phoenix. Even after the Phoenix helps to solve world hunger and pollution, the Avengers continue to refuse to budge on their kill first, ask questions later stance. Number 5. Thor teleports Asgardians to Earth. The god of thunder may be quite charismatic, but Thor leaves something to be desired as a leader. 2004's Ragnarok event ends with Asgard destroyed and a dead Thor. Luckily, the Avenger eventually recovers and successfully recreates Asgard on a stretch of land in Oklahoma. As a city is nothing without its citizens, Thor rescues countless Asgardians, including Loki, and repopulates the kingdom. Rather than stick around and educate Asgard's people on Earth's customs, as any competent leader would, Thor heads out on a number of missions and leaves the inexperienced Asgardians to their own devices. It also puts Asgard in the crosshairs of Norman Osborn, eventually leading to its destruction. Number 4. No More Mutants. 2005's House of M's conclusion produced repercussions of which the X-Men fought for years to come. Scarlet Witch creates an alternate reality with mutants as the dominant species and humans as the repressed minority. Long story short, Scarlet Witch utters the phrase, "No more mutants," and the world changes back to normal, albeit with one rather massive change. Millions of mutants are rendered powerless, leaving only a few hundred to fend for themselves. By rendering mutants on the verge of extinction, the X-Men become a spent force too preoccupied with surviving to contribute much in future storylines. Number 3. The Avengers let Miss Marvel go with her rapist. Operating under the pseudonym of Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers abruptly winds up pregnant and gives birth to a baby boy. Even stranger, the toddler near instantly matures into an adult named Marcus. In order to escape from limbo, Marcus kidnapped, brainwashed, bedded, impregnated, and mind-wiped Miss Marvel before sending the hero back to Earth with a Marcus-shaped bun in the oven. When Marcus is forced to return to limbo, the still clearly influenced Carol decides to tag along. Crucially, none of the Avengers in attendance even attempt to stop Carol from going. Eventually, Miss Marvel returns and gives the heroes a well-deserved tongue lashing. Number 2. Hank Pym creates Ultron. While the Marvel Cinematic Universe shifts the blame to Tony Stark, in the comics, it's Hank Pym who is responsible for creating Ultron. In the name of science, the original Ant-Man applies his own mind as the basis to design a highly advanced robot. Proving to be a chip off the old block, Ultron promptly gains awareness, rebels, and hypnotizes Hank into forgetting everything. Since 1968, an upgraded version of Ultron shows up periodically to threaten to destroy the world or attempt to create a wife based on Hank's own spouse. Putting aside all the wanton destruction and Oedipal complex, nobody can say Hank failed to push the limits of artificial intelligence. Number 1. Peter Parker sacrifices his marriage. One More Day stupidity works on multiple levels. Following 2 decades of a mature Spider-Man, Marvel idiotically elected to bring back the superhero's glory days by pressing the reset button. Believing Bachelor Spider-Man to be the most marketable version, Marvel has Peter reach an agreement with Mephisto to sacrifice the hero's stable marriage to Mary Jane in exchange for saving Aunt May. Over the course of 4 comics, Marvel erases about 20 years worth of character development. Adding insult to injury, One More Day even teases Mary Jane and Peter's potential daughter, a person readers are likely to never meet. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.